back. The big story tonight, KCPE results are out in record time with the two top candidates tying at 453 marks. Earlier on, we spoke to top candidate Olive Moya Washira from Riara School. Now we head over live to the Kisumu International Airport, where reporter Kevin Ogutu is live with the other #1 student in the country, Rawlings Odhiambo from Kakamega Hills. Kevin, good evening.
Very good evening. I'm coming to you live from Kisumu International Airport, and as you mentioned, I'm right here with the top candidate in this year's KCPE examination, who is none other than Rawlings Odhiambo Akech, and he's just jetted in to Kisumu International Airport, accompanied with the father here, and I will be engaging them, probably starting with the father. It has been quite a beautiful day for you. What do you have to say about this remarkable performance by Rawlings?
Actually, it's been so interesting to get a son doing such a wonderful thing. I don't have words with which to explain, but he's done a wonderful thing. Any parent would lack such words in such a situation.
Okay, now that you lack words, I'll proceed straight to the guy of the day, Rawlings Odhiambo Akech. Rawlings, good evening. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yes. 453 marks out of a possible 500. That's quite remarkable.
Yes.
How did you get such a remarkable number of marks?
First, it was through God. I always trusted in God, praying every day. Second, the cooperation of my teachers, my parents. They always encouraged me and motivated me to work harder. Even if I failed, they just kept pushing me to the road of success.
Did you expect to perform the way you've performed?
No, I was expecting to perform good, but not to this extent.
What marks did you have in mind? Because by the time you are heading to the examinations room, you must have had something. What you probably thought you will get?
I thought I'll get for 40, yes, for 40 or for 30 there.
Probably for other pupils in schools watching you right now live on KTN News, what do you have to tell those who will be sitting their KCPE exams next year and even the years after?
First, it's never to give up. When the going is tough, you must get tougher, and to always trust in God, because He is the way forward. Yes.
And talking about, this is a matter squarely academic, what career ambitions do you hold? What do you want to be in future? What career plans do you have?
A neurosurgeon.
Any reason why you want to be a neurosurgeon?
Because I want to help those sick people out there, yes, so that they can get well.
Okay. Any particular motivation towards this particular choice of career path?
I was motivated by Ben Carson, who, although he was not intellectually blessed, he managed to get that job, and now he's helping many people, to get well.
Well, thank you very much, Rawlings, for that, and congratulations so much, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors, okay? God bless. Now, after speaking with Rawlings, we are also fortunate enough to have a number of teachers here who've traveled all the way from Kakamega. Rawlings was at Kakamega Hill School, and I will be engaging some of his teachers here to probably share the moment with us. This is quite remarkable. It's last year that Goldalin Kakuya put Kakamega County on the spotlight. Yes. And maybe starting with your name and what kind of pupil Rawlings was, yes, as we move forward.
Thank you. My name is Moses Otiado, the senior teacher and also the mathematics teacher. Rawlings was a very disciplined boy from the word go. That's why we gave him our index 1. He was remarkably hardworking, good boy, very engaging, very organized, and we knew from the word go, he'll make it. Yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Welcome.
And now, that's how we wrap it. quite an impressive description of what kind of a people Rawlings Odhiambo was during his stint at Mary at Kakamega Hill Primary School. And of course, as he has aptly put it, he would like to become a neurosurgeon. Quite interesting that it is the second time that yet another top candidate is coming from Kakamega County. I mean, the school being in Kakamega County for that matter. And that's how we end it. Back to you in studio.
All right, many thanks. That is Kevin Ogutu live there from the Kisumu International Airport with the top student there, Rawlings Odhiambo. We'll come back to studio with our guests, education experts, Ndio Obondo and Wesaya Minor. Gentlemen, the night tonight was to discuss about the issues that marred the KCPE examinations. But even as we wind up, let's deal with that. Education CS Amina Mohammed is now placing the blame squarely on parents and society when it comes to the number of teenage pregnancies we've seen in schools. I mean, she says since the government began focusing on measures to curb cheating 3 years ago, the number of teen pregnancies, especially within KCPE candidates, has been on the rise. Wasaya, what is your take on this?
The number may have gone up now just because we are reporting on it more. But also these pregnancies, further analysis may need to be undertaken to see what proportion of the candidates who sat this year and scored below 100 or scored very low marks were amongst the candidates who literally the system forced to sit an exam under circumstances that adults cannot manage.
Right.
I think it is diminishing the right that the government, through the Ministry of Education, wants to protect by providing access to quality education. But then when it gets to the final exam for that cycle, force a candidate who was just given birth to sit an exam.
Right.
It is not acceptable. I think it is something that we need to discuss as a nation and find measures for us to cushion these girls who get into this situation when they are still in school.
All right.
Because it is the same ministry that put in place after a lot of pressure from stakeholders on a re-entry strategy. So we cannot have a re-entry strategy for girls who get pregnant that is punitive, that if you are registered for exams 2018, you must sit the exam 2018 without fail.
All right. And let's hear from you, because we call it teenage pregnancies, but human rights activists would call it child sex. Basically, it's a child sex offense. Many of these children are under the age of 18, under the age of 15 for most of them. We've now seen Parliament begin a conversation on perhaps amending the Sexual Offences Act. Is it a shortage of legislation in the country?
Yeah, thank you very much, Michelle. I think I agree with you that this is a child protection issue. But going back to what you said, the CS was focusing spotlight on the parents. Yes, parents have a role to play in making sure that they keep their eyes on the girls. But I think it is more than the parents. We also need to look at the roles teachers can play in this. We also need to look at community systems, because sometimes if parents are not around to be able to keep their eyes on the children, we expect that at least community systems would be in place to do that. And again, we also need to look at government structures. What can government structures do to be able to make sure that our children are secure in school, out of school, like in their communities and between schools and their homes?
Right.
For instance, if you look at the clip that the CS lamented about earlier, that she receives clips of children attending discourse. One question that I would be able to ask her as a minister and ask government is, who licenses such discourse? How can you, who actually organizes discourse of school children to attend? If government is serious, they would be able to tell us they've arrested how many people who did that, and make sure that if you are licensed to run a disco or organize any event, you must be able to make sure that children underage don't attend. So I think what we need to look at is, how do we collaborate, all the actors, parents, teachers, community members, and also government structures to make sure that we are able to take care of these children and provide for their security in and out of school.
And legislators say having more punitive laws and more punitive legislation then would reduce this. The Ministry of Education says investigations are being conducted to see who the culprits are. And I mean, in cases of pregnancy, the pregnancy itself is evidence who the culprit is. So I'm sure the country will be expecting answers when it comes to that. But what the CS said today was that the examination was administered on a very equal playing field. And those were her words. Let's tie that in with what Wesaya there thinks, because the girls here were dealing with the full brunt of pregnancy in an examination room, competing with boys. We have we have laws where children can sit for exams when pregnant, can be pregnant, and then go back after giving birth to these children. But is that an equal playing field?
Even if we were to remove the issue of pregnancy, there is no way, the context of Kenya, we can talk of an equal playing field.
Right.
Before these examinations, there were demolitions that happened in Kibera. There was violence in Nakuru. There were evictions in the larger Mau. We have children in the northeastern, in West Pokot, in Marakwet, who are going to school under very difficult circumstances. We cannot call that an equal playing field. We have children who are in this country 50 years after independence studying under trees. That is not an equal playing field. And taking a child out of the labor ward to sit an exam, then I found that a little disgraceful from the minister being a mother herself.
All right, Wesaya, even as we wind up, again, the CS saying it was a level playing field. Let's couple that with the promise by the government that everybody, all the candidates that sat for this examination will be placed in secondary schools. Again, in terms of a level playing field, is this a promise the Ministry of Education can keep?
Yes, I think there's a promise, Michelle, that they can keep. But what I think we need to discuss first and foremost is if you have more than half of the candidates scoring less than the threshold, how do we want to do the selection? Because I think what every parent wants to see is, yes, we expect that the top scorers should be able to get top schools. But we also expect that all those who scored to meet 250 and above should be able to be given also equal opportunities in this. I think what we need to say is how do they want to do the selection? It is a good policy that government is going to ensure that everybody is in school, but we need to see what kind of school. Because I think what we've been calling for is we are in a situation where if we don't attain the level playing field in terms of providing education, we cannot attain it in examinations. And I think if we don't do that as we prepare these learners to get into Form 1, we will be able to talk about the same problem when they complete Form 4. Because what we were expecting to say is, yes, they have been investing in building schools, they have been investing in expanding opportunities, but we have regions in Kenya that are still very far away from where they should be. Even if we wanted to take everybody to school, we'll be asking what kind of schools are we taking them. So I think what we would want to ask the ministry to do is to begin to tell us, yes, we have this number of opportunities in terms of Form 1 intake or placements, but what is the quality of the classroom, the quality of the facilities that we have? But also another issue that is pressing is teachers. We get reports every year that we have a shortage of 70,000 teachers. And if we don't bridge that gap, we might be admitting these children to Form 1, but admitting a student to secondary school without a teacher is not good enough. So I think we need to look at the whole picture in as much as we support the policy of 100% transition, but we need to focus on are we able to increase the number of teachers so that we are able to increase that ratio? Are we able to increase facilities and opportunities in those schools? Are we also able to make sure that the textbooks that we provide, we can be able to meet a reasonable ratio for textbook people, for the reasonable textbook and pupil ratio.
All right, valid concerns there. Education experts, Wesaya Maina and Andiwo Obondo in studio. Gentlemen, many thanks for your time. That is the big story. My name is Michelle Gele Odhiambo. Good evening.